What's going on YouTube? Effect Records here. Today I'm bringing you a new updated video of my '03 Mitsubishi Lancer EVO conversion build. Now, so let's go ahead and get into it, but real quick, my last video got copyrighted for the intro that I had on there that I've had for like ever. I actually made that a long time on an online YouTube intro creator website kind of thing. So I felt like it was legit and stuff, but I guess not legit enough, and my last video was the first one to be copyrighted for it. So this one's not going to have an intro. Now I'm going to work on an intro and stuff, trying to build my own kind of thing and use the YouTube audio library that has non-copyrighted music on it, and try to do something cool with my EVO or something. I don't really know. But anyway, that's kind of why I don't have an intro on this video. If you guys are wondering, you guys probably don't even care, but that's kind of where that's at. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the video. I made a decent amount of progress. Right now I'm kind of upset. I just got back from Georgia. The reason why I got back from Georgia is because I was in the process of purchasing front radiator core support for an EVO 8.9. Now, I don't think this is what I got. I definitely called ahead. I should have asked for pictures before I even made the trip. I'm in Iowa, so that was quite a bit a ways. That was a 12-hour drive there, and then 12 hours back. So that kind of sucked in that regard. It was like a 4-day trip we made out of it, and had like a pop tire and stuff, and just terribleness. But anyway, so I went to get this whole front piece, because I undid the spot welds of this one off. There's just, you know, some spot welds around here you could see where they were at, and I just drilled them out and took the old one off, and I was going to replace it with an EVO one. I figured that would just make everything easier in the long run. I found one. The closest one was in Georgia. They said it would be about $1,500 to ship it, and I was like, I'm not about that life. I don't got that kind of money. So I was like, I'll just go down there and pick it up. It was a $350 part. So I get it. I didn't really think much of it when I had it, when I first picked it up. I was just like, okay, sweet, I got this. Let's get back, because I'm tired of driving and stuff. Well, technically I wasn't driving, I was the passenger, but anyway. So we get back, and we got back last night, and the first thing I did is I wanted to throw it on and see how it looked. So I threw it on, and the headlights, because I got some, I don't know if I showed those in the last video, I don't think so, but I got some EVO 8.9 headlights that I paid $600 for. Now I bought these on Facebook, on a Facebook group, because like everywhere I looked, they were over $1,000, like $1,200 easy for a pair. And I ended up finding these on Facebook on an EVO Classifieds website for $550, and then I paid $70 to ship it, and it was like $620 overall. I just sent it through PayPal, and he sent these out. So much appreciated for those. But anyway, so I went to put those on to see how it looked and see if everything fit up, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure everything fits before I weld in some things, which I'll go over in a little bit. But anyway, so I went to put the headlights on, which this is the one that it came with. I just drilled this off as well. I drilled the spot welds out, but this is the one that was on it, and yeah, that was not happening. Like, it wasn't even like close to fitting. So what I assume I got is, I looked up that part number, and it just, the part number that's on the part, and it says 2004 to 2006 Mitsubishi Lancer is what it says. So obviously, I believe it's just like a just a Lancer, you know, like a Lancer, yes, with the bubbly headlights instead of the like that style or what have you. But it's definitely, I'm definitely sure it's not an EVO one. So that's kind of where I'm at. So then I had this EVO upper radiator support anyway, and I went to just drill those out and see if I can make it work. But I don't think I can. I think my original 2003 Mitsubishi Lancer core support was a better choice, but I ended up giving that to my neighbor guy, and I was like, do you have that still? You know, I gave it to him before I made this trip, which was on Sunday, and I guess he made a scrap run and scrapped it. So that's just my luck, I guess. I don't know if I'm going to try to make this work or not. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. one of the big problems, like how this is all shaped up and stuff up in here. I mean, I might tinker with it because, like I said, worst case scenario is it doesn't work, and then I'm out 350 bucks plus whatever, you know, my food costs and gas costs from going to Georgia. It was down in Marietta, Georgia, and might just chuck it up as a loss because like the center support's not even the same. It's just a big mess. But anyway, I don't really want to be a downer too much. It's just like I just found that out like last night when I fitted it up, and I was going to see if this was working when I woke up this morning, which I just didn't. It doesn't seem like it's going to want to work. But like I said, I might tinker with it, and maybe next video I have found a solution for it to work or something. I don't know, because I don't want it to look ugly, so I don't want to, you know, I'll try to figure it out. But anyway, there's that. So then next is I started putting the engine back in to make up this engine mount right here. So this is the engine mount for the passenger side engine mount. So I got that one over there, and I got that one back there. So all I'm waiting for to weld this one in, well, I still got to modify it, which I'll go into that in a little bit, but before I weld it in, I want to get the front, for the front mount right there. I actually want to get that one first, which I was actually going to get this support, and then hopefully here soon I could have got the front piece, which is what I was looking for next, because that's like the only thing I need, is those two things. But anyway, so I want to get like a stock one, either a stock one or aftermarket one. I don't want to make one, just so like whatever happens, I can still use a stock one, make sure it fits correctly. Because I figure if I get that support all the way across, that bolts up to the K-frame and the core support, and then the transmission mount, and then the rear transmission mount, I feel like it'll basically position the engine where it needs to be exactly. Then all I got to do is worry about, you know, a little bit of height issue before I weld this engine mount in, and then technically, you know, if I unbolt it and get the engine out of here, everything should bolt back together, I assume. So that's kind of like the plan. I don't want to go ahead and bolt this one up if that one's not going to fit, and vice versa. So that's why I haven't done it yet. But yeah, so what I did though, to make sure like it was level before I weld, I went up here and I kind of made sure that the car itself was level, and then which it was. So then I took the leveler and went down here, and then it's level. So that's kind of how I'm going to make sure that the engine's level before I weld it in. So the engine mount that I was working on kind of looks like this. It's not done, obviously. There are some changes that was being made. I made it too long because I'd rather cut off some than make it too short, kind of thing. But that's kind of what it looks like. So I'm going to grind this, you know, smooth, kind of like this side. The reason why I had to do that is because this part was hitting the back of the engine bay, like right around here. It's hitting this little hump. So technically I can weld that in, but I want it to be symmetrical. So I want to grind that down to make it about the same height as that. But then that goes in, and then I'm going to grind back this. This is where some fins were. I had some, I don't think I have them up here anymore. But I had triangle fins that was sticking out here for extra support for you know, this direction, if that makes sense. So flex, so it helps with flex kind of thing. So I had that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grind this back down and then readjust my fin and make it where I want to be. But that's kind of the goal for that as well. Now you're probably not going to be happy for the most part, but I did do some changes on the rear. So as you see, I did some cutting. So basically, I'm going to re-weld that back up, so it's no biggie. But I made some, when I first did this, I put this little piece in here and I hated it. I've always have. It wouldn't let me get back in here if I was working on the inside, so I went ahead and just cut it out. Now I'm going to cut it back, but this isn't my focus right now, because I kind of got the shape that I want, because I got all the metal that I took out, and it's probably the shape that I'm going with, because I actually like it. But with that being said, I plan on moving out of my house in a couple of months, or maybe three, four, no later than 4 months. I'm probably going to get a new house. I'm working on it now in the process to it. So with that being said, I got to be able to get wheels on this so I can get it transferred to my new house. Because I plan on getting a pretty decent sized shop with lifts and stuff, and I can't wait. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. So I want to be able to get wheels on it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm working on the engine and the rear diff and rear suspension and everything else in the meantime, because I also ordered and came in a new K-frame. So the K-frame for the EVOs and the Lancers, I'm pretty sure are exactly the same. I looked over pictures and stuff and I couldn't see any differences. The only differences that I could find is price. If it has the EVO name on it, it's more expensive. But like I said, I'm pretty sure they're the exact same. So I just went ahead and bought a Lancer one. And then I also bought some lower control arms as well. Now I went over whether to buy an EVO one or a Lancer one, and for the shape I was going over them and they look kind of similar, but this one was more questionable. Now what I'm probably going to do is, this is just for temporary because they're a lot cheaper. I think I'm trying to remember, I think they were like 60 bucks for both of them, and like for the EVO ones they're like 150 used a piece, so it would be like 300 bucks. So that's kind of where I was at. So I just got these for like temporary reasonings, and so that's kind of where I'm at, just so I can get things on the ball. And then all I gotta do is mount the strut down here and then attach it to this, and also make sure like the half shafts fit and all that stuff. So that's kind of the plans for the K-frame and stuff. Now there's a lot of stuff to go over, so I'm trying to not to make this video that long, but it's probably gonna be longer than my other ones because like I said, I did do quite a bit since my last video, just not body wise, because I kind of got the design that I want. I also cut up some metal, which I'll probably show you later if I remember, for the other side of the door, because I was going to kind of work on the other side of the door if I'm waiting on a part to come in, just to get some stuff done. But anyway, so down here I started working on both sides because I'm trying to get the rear diff in, and so I got these set up. So I had to cut this out because originally I tried to bolt it on, and this is my fault for not doing research. And with that being said, by the time I'm done with this, guys, I will go over every challenge that I had and what not to do, what to do, kind of thing, my recommendations on to do stuff, because I'm just, you know, I have no reference for the most part, so I'm just kind of winging it. So if something don't fit, I'm just trying to make it work and figure out why it's not fitting, and going over. I have tons of EVO reference pictures in my thing now. So but anyway, it was like right here is where it bolted on at, and I bolted it on, and then it looked like it was going to be like a monster truck. That's how high it was going to be. And then I looked up some reference images of an EVO trunk without the flooring in it, because I didn't have any of those. So I looked at them, and they actually had a tower about a foot taller than a normal Lancer. So I went ahead and cut this out and extended it. I'm also going to make some more cuts all the way around, because I noticed in the EVOs that's how they are, so I can get that nice bend in there. And there's probably some stuff that I'm going to have during the next video already done. But anyway, so I shoved that up on both sides. I did the same thing, and I got a strut bar for an EVO right there. So I got a strut bar. I think it was like 80 bucks, 90 after shipping and stuff. But the reason why I got the strut bar is because it gives me my distance, and it should give me my angle. So it gives me my distance and angle, so all I got to do now is figure out height. So that's kind of why I got it. So that way it was perfectly centered. Well, I guess I can make it, you know, shift it one way or the other, but you know what I'm saying, like it helps me gather the information that I need to just raise it up. I figure I can just raise it up. I still gotta cut out these down here, like take this little chop out, so that way you can get a nice little angle going, because it's kind of squeezed up against there, because that's just how the EVOs are. But yeah, so it gets me my angle, slight angle adjustment, and it gives me my distance between where they need to be, so I can make it the best that I can. Next up, I got the differential. I do got some good news on that front. So this is the one that it came with, that for the EVO 8 differential that I not differential, drive shaft that I ordered. So So this is the EVO 8 drive shaft that I ordered, and obviously the rest of it's down there. But the problem is I have actually a Mitsubishi Airtrek engine 4G63T. And the reason why is because I didn't want to mess with adding a pedal or anything, so I just wanted this to be automatic. Because I mean, I got that's manual, so I don't really got to worry about, you know, not having a manual car, because I definitely think they're funner. But at the same time, I didn't want to mess with, you know, trying to install a clutch and stuff like that. I think I'm doing enough as it is. And then when I came across an automatic transmission 4G63T attached with the transfer case, I just decided to do it. And this is about 3 years ago. Maybe 2 years ago, but anyway, I'm losing track of time. So basically, when I got the Airtrek in and then I got the drive shaft in, they would not fit up, they would not mate up, and I just, you know, never really worried about it. I was like, oh, it's something I'll worry about later. I was like, I'm sure I can just find like a Mitsubishi Airtrek yoke kind of thing. But that just never happened. I couldn't find it online anywhere. I think they're like Japanese only, and they're imported to America. I don't really know exactly too much about the Airtreks, but I do know people have them here. But you know, they're not really common at all, is from what I gather. But I know when I try to look up, you know, trying to get a yoke for it, I just couldn't find anything very useful. So I had to try to improvise. So what I did was I did this both on the transfer case as well as this drive shaft. And I put a little paint mark on it, white, and then I counted all the way around there. So the reason I made that paint marker is because that's number 1. So when I get back to it, I know how much teeth there are. So this one has 21 teeth on it for splines, and on the transfer case of the Airtrek, it had 24 splines. So if you do get a Mitsubishi Airtrek transfer case, I mean, it may be different. I'm not entirely sure. So I would just go ahead and count it yourself as it is, just because. But like I said, it had 24 to 21, so obviously that's why it wasn't fitting. And this was just recently, maybe a week or 2 ago. So I went ahead and ordered. So then I went ahead and before I ordered, I went ahead on eBay and I was looking up drive shafts for different Mitsubishis. So I was thinking about doing like an Outlander. I was going to count the splines on them, but nobody on eBay that I seen had the splines shown for a Outlander, for a Mitsubishi Outlander, because that was like what I was thinking. And so I was trying to, you know, get one where I could see, okay, this has this many splines, because I couldn't find any information anywhere about how many splines there were. Just nothing, you know. If you buy it for that vehicle, it should fit that vehicle, so you're not going to worry about how many splines there are. So anyway, so I couldn't find anything. Then I finally found one, because I ended up looking up EVO 10s actually, and I found one for an EVO 10. I believe it was an MR EVO 10 drive shaft yoke. Just this whole piece here, just this part instead of the whole drive shaft. It was $80. And it showed a picture of the splines, and I counted them, about 4 times just to make sure that it was correct, and that it had 24, and it did have 24. So I went ahead and ordered it, kind of like a gamble. I was like, man, I hope this works. You know, hopefully like the spacing and stuff is the same, and it just slips in. And it came in, and it fits in like a glove, like it's perfect. It's like it was made for the vehicle. There is only a couple things different about it, and I'm not entirely sure if I need to address it or not. So it is about an inch shorter than this one. So this one is about an inch longer for the whole piece as it sits from when this is actually in it. Now I don't think that'll matter all too much, since it's not like a factory positioning with the rear diff, because I feel like the half shaft should cover up that extraness, is what I'm thinking. Now, worst case scenario is I can buy a spacer, so like between this and the rest of the drive shaft, put like a inch spacer in between it. It's kind of what I was thinking. So like it look like this, and just have like an inch spacer, and then it bolts up with a longer bolt to make that difference. And then also I was thinking about like vibrations and stuff and having it balanced. And I'm pretty sure I can go to a company when it's done to get it balanced, to get like it rebalanced or something where they can weld on a weight or something, is what I was thinking. Now what I was wanting to do is, if it fits, is just switch out the yoke up top and make it, you know, just switch it out. But the problem was this one is a lot narrower than the other one. Like they're not the same. Like the EVO 10's like sticks out like that, like, yeah, about that far. So there's no way that was gonna work. That was kind of what I was hoping to do, so that way I wouldn't have to like get it rebalanced and stuff and just use this one and it works. But you know, that's just what happens when you gamble like that. But with that being said, like I said, it fits, so that's perfect on that front. I don't really want to bore you guys with all this other stuff, but I'm trying to remember everything that I got and that I did. See, I took out the rear taillights. I'm gonna do some modifications to that, and there's just other things. There's also, I'm also going to get a bead roller. So the bead roller is going to help me with the trunk floor pan stuff, like there. So instead, I'm actually going to cut this bar up back off for here, and instead I'm just going to, which is right there behind there, is the floor for the trunk. Instead, I'm just going to roll some beads in it, kind of like this is, to add strength. So when I weld it up, you know, there's no flex and stuff in it, because it's going to have those nice pretty bead rolls in it. But then I'm going to clean all this up and stuff, so that way when it comes time to lift up the rear diff, because the plan is I'm going to bolt the rear diff to the drive shaft. So I'm going to bolt those two up, and then I'm going to use my motorcycle jack over there with some kind of extension, like a box or something, to raise it because it doesn't go high enough, and set the rear diff on it. And then once I do that, I'm just going to raise it all the way up, and then basically make sure that it's the correct distance. And then that's when I can go ahead and make my mounts for the rear subframe and the rear diff mounts and all that stuff. And that's kind of like how I plan on doing that, because that way it'll give me my distance. And yeah, so once that's done, I figure once the subframe's in, then I can bolt this back to the rear subframe, which is right here, this to the rear subframe, and that should help me get my height with the strut. So it's like everything just got to fit together, and it's definitely a hassle, but everything, you know, you just want to make sure that everything fits. That way you don't come to a point to put it in and it's like crazy off, or just a little bit off, but you can't make it work, and then you got to redo some things. So that's kind of like where I'm at. It's just like fitting it in a puzzle. But these are the headlights that I got for it. I got that one there, and then I got the other one up there so I don't break it or scratch it or anything. I'm still upset that I got the wrong core support, and if I don't get it working, I plan on calling actually today anyway to see if they have some in stock, and then maybe see if their shipping is cheaper, because they want to charge me $1,500 to ship this. So I might call some places around to see if they actually have an EVO one. But yeah, I might get it working. Like I said, I just don't know. But that's kind of this video. I'm sorry that it's longer than I wanted it to be. And also with the rear getting a little bit chopped up. I cleaned out my garage, and then also, like, if I record at night, I also installed some lights up in my garage rafters, because that helps. I don't know why it took me 3 years to do that, but it did. That's the engine back in it. So I mean, I think I'm getting a lot of progress done. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions or anything that may be able to help me. I'm definitely open to them. Or if you have any comments, just let me know. I'll try to help you guys out as much as I can. Definitely it depends what you want to do, because some people just want to do a 4G63 swap. Some people want to do all-wheel drive with 4G63. Somebody want to do everything with the body. And if I'm going to do all-wheel drive and the 4G63, I might as well do the body too. You know, that's just what I think. And then also I was thinking about, real quick, before I end the video, I know I was just about done, and you guys were like, okay, he's almost over, great. I was thinking that when I get both sides done and the body ready to go, basically, I was going to wrap it. I was going to primer it, obviously, and then I was thinking about wrapping it in fiberglass. So that way, you know, this line is pretty sharp. Like, it's a sharp line. And I was thinking I kind of want a rolled line, you know, like instead of like a smooth transfer. It's kind of what I was wanting. So I was thinking if I can wrap it in fiberglass all the way down, well, not all the way down, but you know, probably down to like here, and then use some body filler to mask this, so that way I still have this line here. Just it'll give it a nice rolled look to it, and also I feel like it'll protect it a little bit more because it'll have that fiberglass covering. Let me know what you guys think on that front. Like, I was going to do the same thing to this, just so it's like a nice smooth, you know, less body filler, because I feel like that would add less body filler if I did it that way as well to the whole project. But yeah, I think that's it. If not, I will definitely hopefully remember and cover it in the next video on what I'm doing. But that's kind of what it looks now. It looks like that. And then I also took off this side because it was started to, but then I took it off because I'm a dummy and you got to check measurements more than once, and it was actually like an inch too high versus the other side. So that's just my doing, like I said. Oh, real quick, I know I'm not done yet. Almost done. This is the piece that I cut off, so I basically traced it, and then I used my Beverly shear over there to cut it out for this side. That's kind of what it started like. Started like that, and then I cut that piece out and bent it out and stuff and made my shape that way. But yeah, that's basically this video. If you like this video, please comment, rate, and subscribe. Yeah. Alright guys. Peace.